Hi everybody, and welcome back to part 4 of the Revell 1/32 scale P-51D Mustang. So in this this video, I'm going to be working on more of the aircraft specific coloring. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tape off this black here, get that painted. And then I'm going to start working on the wings. Now, this color scheme here is not the color scheme I'm using. I'm going with the assumption that, according to some sources, that this portion here and some of it on the spine and on the tail was actually like an insignia blue. So whether or not it's right or wrong, that's not the exercise here. I wanted to go for something a little unusual, as I usually like to do. And some of the evidence points to this being blue. So we'll leave it at that. I'm not going to say it's right or wrong, but that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to get this paint taped off and painted black. And then I will start working on the wings, because the wings are kind of separate from the rest of it. I mean, there's nothing connected, so I can do the wings. And then I can move on to the fuselage and the tail section. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do here is start making some masks. Now, first I made copies of both sides of the fuselage, mainly from here back, so I could make some masks. And this is what I came up with. I had to enlarge them 200% to get to this size. And the way I came up with the size I needed, and it's not exact science by any means, but I basically measured from the nose without the spinner on it to the back of the tail minus the rudder. Okay, so if that makes any sense, if the rudder wasn't on there, I measured it to there, which is just shy of 10.5 inches. And again, this is just to give me a rough estimate, and this came out to be 200%. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these out with tape, apply them, and then I can start painting stuff. And I think I'm going to do like I originally said and start with the wings first. So I'm going to cut these out, make a mask from this part up here, stick them on there, and then I can paint the wings and get those out of the way. Then I will do the same thing with the tail section and the sides of the fuselage, horizontal stabilizers. All right, here's how it sits. I did the wings. I did the wings like I described in that previous segment, and it turned out really good. Now I got a little tiny bit of, let's call it underspray, because it went under the tape. But everything else turned out really good. So the colors I used is I mixed up some XF81, which is XF81, which is dark green 2 RAF, and some clear X22 and some X20A thinner to spray the green portions. So I sprayed that, then I taped everything off, did the whole wing, then I taped that off the same width as the invasion stripes, taped that off, and mixed up a batch of RAF Roundel Blue. Now, I'm not going to get into why I chose that color. It was from another build that another person did, and he did some experimentation. After seeing what he had done, this is what I decided on. And the mix that I have, that I read somewhere, was 1 part XF1, which is flat black, 3 parts XF8, which is flat blue, and then 2 parts X22 and 3 parts X20A. So I'm getting that kind of semi-gloss, and the sheen is almost identical, which is really cool because that's what I wanted. Not that it'll matter because I may spray over it, but you know, we'll see. But I mix it up in these little bottles here, and I can save it and do the rest of the painting later. So the next part I need to do is I need to tape off all of the rear of the aircraft. So I've already got all of my templates cut out here and ready to go. So what I'll do is I'll tape it all off, and then I'll show you what I have, and then I'll spray it and then come back and show you the final product. Before I do that, however, I do want to talk about tape a little bit. Now, there's all kinds of different kinds of tape, and I generally use Tamiya tape, you know, this kind of stuff. But my local, the only place I can get it locally, which was Hobby Lobby, a large chain retailer here in the States, that carries hobby supplies and modeling stuff. Not very much, but some. But they no longer carry that, so they carried a different brand. It was kind of a generic brand. I don't even know if I had a name on it, but it looked, I thought, you know what, it's really cheap and I will try it. And it's not too bad. However, I have discovered there is some things about it I don't like. So let's start with the first one. So I don't know if you can see, let's zoom in and see, but in looking at it from the top, you can see how these edges kind of go down a little bit. It's I don't know if it's how they wound it or from the cutting process, but it didn't seem to be that noticeable when the roll was new. But as I've gone down, it's kind of weird like that. So you don't get a really nice straight edge, and you can kind of see it's almost a delineation right there at the edge, maybe about not quite 1/8 of an inch, about 2 millimeters actually, and that wreaks havoc on trying to get a nice straight crisp edge. So what I did is I'd lay it out. Let me show you. I would lay this tape out, and I would use my straight edge. I'm not going to measure it. I normally measure it to what I need, but I'd go down past that line and slice it like that. Discard this because it's kind of a weird wavy thing. But I've discovered that also as I've gotten down farther on the roll, it doesn't really seem to stay stuck very good on the plastic. It starts to lift, especially if there's any kind of a like a rounded edge. I can burnish it down on there for ever and it just doesn't stick. So at that point, that's how I got that little bit of underspray right there. I had tape there, but it didn't stick down good. So when I sprayed it, a little bit got underneath. So I'm gonna have to clean that up somehow. So cheap tapes might be okay for some stuff, but I just find this doesn't stick that well. So it's getting relegated to the drawer of desperation, which means I'll probably never use it again. So I just ordered online a couple of rolls of 18 millimeter and a refill for my 6 millimeter, 6 millimeter. And that's just, I'm going to stick with this. I know this stuff is going to work. It's super good quality, and whenever I order replacements, I only have to order the refill, because I can reuse the dispenser, and it's a little bit cheaper, and it's just much better quality. And so there's that little bit of a tape tip for you. So let me get cracking on this masking job, and I'll come back before I spray it. So I guess I should kind of demonstrate what I do here. So I basically lay a piece of tape on the cutting surface. I take the masking template that I'm using, and then I simply line up the straight edge in this case. Then I use a fine point Sharpie This is hard to do from this angle, so I'm just kind of giving you an idea. And if it's a little rough, you just focus on cutting on the inside edge, not this outside edge of your line. Again, this is hard to do from the angle without getting my noggin in the way of the camera. And basically, I'm just making a mask for the part that is staying metal. Now I have all this down here, not really necessary because I'm going to tape it off in its entirety because there's no green underneath the stabilizer, which is what goes here, horizontal stabilizer. But I'll go ahead and draw it on there anyway. Okay, then once I get it drawn, then I just very carefully cut it out. And voila, there you go. So I'm going to work on the rest and then come back and show you how it looks. Alright, so I've got this stuff painted. Now it's time to start peeling off tape. And here it is. That's what it looks like. So, what to do next? Alright, so with all of the painting done, I painted the bare metal surface there on the flaps. And other than that, the painting is pretty much done completely. I might have to do some touch-ups here and there, but that's cool. So the next thing I need to do is I need to start getting the landing gear doors, all that kind of stuff situated. Start putting that together, getting everything prepped for final assembly so I can actually start with the decals and such. So I think I'm going to end this part right here, part 4, and when I come back, I may have some of this stuff done, but I'll talk a little bit about it and just get ready for some more assembly stuff and decals. Decals will be in the next episode. So anyway, that's it for now. Thanks for watching Plastic Models by a Regular Dude and the Revell 1/32 scale P-51D Mustang. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, hints, tips, any of that kind of stuff, just leave them in the comments section down below and I will get back to you as quick as I can. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all later.